Hello and welcome to another edition of Knickerbocker Banter. I'm your host, as always, Harris Wishard. And stop me if you've heard this before. The Knicks get a dramatic, heart-dropping, exciting, whatever else you want to call it, playoff win last night at Madison Square Garden to take a 1-0 series lead against the Indiana Pacers. And I don't care if you think it was controversial. I don't care if you think the refs missed the call. That's something you don't apologize for this time of year, especially when you erase a 9-point deficit. You continue to fight back. You continue to play your brand of basketball. Missed calls are going to happen. Enough with the narrative that the NBA wants the Knicks to continue to advance. It helps having Jalen Brunson on your team, who just continues to be incredible. And last night was no exception. The 21-point fourth quarter from your star. 14 of 14 from the line. And if there was one thing you could say about Brunson so far this year, or more so in the playoffs, that maybe he struggled a little bit from the line. He had a 6 of 9 game. He had a 7 of 10 game from the line. Yesterday, he was perfect. He was a calm, cool, collected customer in the fourth quarter to guide the Knicks to victory. It wasn't always easy. And I told people, do not sleep on the Indiana Pacers. There's some talent over there. Despite Halliburton having a bad game and he hasn't been the same guy since early in the season, this is a good basketball team. They couldn't get the stops down the stretch. They didn't get a couple of calls that they wanted. And the Knicks, like I say, come from 9 points to behind and get a great victory. And the Brunson statistics, as you look at them today, nobody in NBA history, let me say that again, nobody in NBA history has gone 4 straight 40-point game, 5 assists plus in the postseason. And when you're in the category by yourself, or only Michael Jordan or LeBron James has done something, you are elite, my friend. And Jalen Brunson continues to be the showstopper that the Knicks need him to be. But he's efficient. He took 26 shots yesterday. He made 14. You know what was a great part of his game? Obviously, the free throws. He only needed 1 3. And he was over 40 again. So he gets to the rim. And he obviously had help from his friends, right? The Villanova crew was as good as you are going to see from them in this postseason. I can't see them as a trio outdoing this performance. They needed every second of it. And I said going into this series, Dante DiVincenzo needs to channel his regular season. You saw that in Game 6 against Philadelphia, and you saw it in the second half last night. He hit some timely shots. Obviously, Brunson was really big in the fourth. Dante DiVincenzo was incredible in the third quarter. 15 points to lead the Knicks and get them back in this basketball game. He was terrific. And when I look at his shot-making ability right now, it's at the times that he's making them. Obi Toppin puts the ball between his legs, does the East Bay, or whatever the heck you call it. I can't believe he even tried in a playoff game. I was at a game February 10th, a couple months ago, where he tried it and got stuffed by the rim at the Garden, and he got pulled out of the game immediately. So in a fourth quarter of a playoff game, the fact that he even attempted it, I'm surprised. But, give Toppin credit. He had some good minutes off the bench. I don't hate the guy, just didn't think he fit what the Knicks were building. But I digress. Let's get back to Dante DiVincenzo, who, following that Obi Toppin between the legs dunk, hit a 3. That's big, because you could build off momentum if you're the Pacers there with what could become a deflating play for the Knicks. But as we've seen with this Knicks team, so many times they are able to stay in the moment. I've talked about it. They don't allow it to get too big. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. They stay level-headed, and it pays off. And DiVincenzo, right in the middle of that run to get them back in the game in the fourth quarter, hits a big 3 in transition when it was 94-90 to make it 94-93. And then we obviously know what he did at the end of the game. Brunson's double team, Indiana putting a ton of pressure on him. They don't want him to make the winning shot. And as we've seen throughout this entire postseason, other guys willing to step up. Josh Hart in the Philadelphia series, DiVincenzo in the Philadelphia series, and now again, DiVincenzo to give them the 3-point lead following, which should have been a kickball. I'm not a Knicks homer. I'm not going to get on here and sugarcoat it. Wasn't a kickball. Boo-hoo-hoo. Refs didn't see it. You play on. As I said after the game 2 in Philadelphia at the Garden, the crazy comeback where the Knicks fouled Maxey, I got on the show and said they fouled. But what do you want to do, right? Like, there's so many other opportunities the Pacers had to win this basketball game, and they weren't able to do so. So the Knicks don't apologize. We're too far into the year for apologies. Okay? They even reviewed that screen that Miles Turner set on DiVincenzo with a little nudge. If I'm reffing that basketball game, and I'm a horrible ref and I'd never want to ref, but if I was in that situation, yeah, I probably wouldn't have called that. You don't want that to decide the game. But they reviewed it and decided that it was still an illegal screen. So miss me with all that talk and all that narrative. I want to focus on the things that the Pacers could have done and that the Knicks did down the stretch, because that's been a common theme. The Knicks continue to give you a heart attack. All of their wins in the postseason are extremely dramatic. But again, we can't go any further without talking about the heart and soul of the basketball team. Josh Hart has played 3 full games in the playoffs. He does the full 48 last night. He's played at least 46 minutes 5 times now. And it doesn't seem to affect his production one bit. This is a guy, and I saw this stat today, and I had to do a double take because I couldn't believe it. He averaged in the regular season 9 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists on 43% from the field and 31% from 3. Not a bad year for Josh Hart. We know a lot of the stuff that he does doesn't show up in the box score. So I don't need him to be a crazy stat guy. But that's what he's been in the playoffs, right? Take a look at his playoff numbers now. 18 points a game, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 44% from the field. And here's the number that just jumps right off the page. 44% from 3. Josh freaking Hart. And when he makes the play, similar as I was talking about with Dante, is the big thing. It's so damn timely. The offensive rebounds, the saving the ball out of bounds, the 50-50 balls we talk about all the time. The play that stuck out in this game for me is when I felt very confident the Knicks were going to win. 104-103 after it happened, so I'll take it back. 104-99. Josh Hart goes to the rim, gets fouled, makes the layup, 104-101. You're hoping that he makes the free throw. He misses the free throw, gets his own rebound, and scores it. That is simply, I want it more than you do. And that is why when the Pacers cried after the game, and it wasn't necessarily the players, it was more their fan base on Twitter. I don't even know why I engage with it. I shouldn't. But I actually liked what McConnell said and Turner after the game when they were asked about it. Yeah, they were upset, but they took accountability. There wasn't a lot of crying going on. And by the way, P.J. McConnell, who we said was going to be a pest in this series, deserved to be on the floor more than he was. To take him out with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter and him to not see the floor again, I don't know about that one, man. And I'm not an NBA coach, don't pretend to be, but it felt like if he was in that game a little bit more, the Knicks were reeling. They were in real trouble. Not only down in the fourth quarter, down by 9 towards the end of the first half, and another huge momentum swing that we have to bring up is Isaiah Hartenstein from the Madison Square Garden parking lot puts in a 45-footer at half court, and it's only a 6-point game. And those, to me, and you've heard me say this before, count a little bit more than just those 3 points. It's going into the locker room feeling a little better. It's what it does for the morale of the team. It hypes everyone up a little bit. All right, we're down 6. That's a couple possessions. And then 4 or 5 minutes into the third quarter, it's a tie game. So I think that was obviously very important. Shout out to Ihart. I don't think he was awesome, but he had some timely baskets And he was a heck of a lot better than Mitch. And shout out to Mitch also, because I know he's trying, but he's clearly not himself. And he's clearly not healthy. This Knick rotation right now is just depleted. And we only saw 4 minutes from Precious. We know about the injuries they had coming into this series. We don't even know if Alec Burks is even going to ever come in a basketball game again. I've talked about how I probably think they're better off. They might just have to go with this. I saw a stat earlier today, I was reading the newspaper, about how Denver last year on their way to the championship rode their starters, played like 90-something% of the minutes. Right now, the Knicks are playing like 85 to 88% of the minutes. It's incredible. How about this? The Knicks started the season with Josh Hart coming off the bench, DiVincenzo coming off the bench, Isaiah Hartenstein coming off the bench. Now, obviously, trades and injuries happened, but these are guys that were your bench mob that have now become 45-plus minute players in the most important games of the season. So it's amazing what's happened. I'm not going to be critical of Tibbs. I think they're just going to have to ride this out. Could you see a few more minutes of Precious? Does Deuce McBride need to have more of an impact on this series? Of course, because he was so crucial for them against Philadelphia that I think to combat some of the stuff that you saw yesterday. How about this? 46-3 was the bench differential in this game. 46-3. It's hard to win a game when you're 46-3. Another negative stat for the Knicks. 15 turnovers for the Knicks, only 8 for Indiana. So they overcome some stuff. Something I was happy about when I take a look at the box score is that the Knicks were 22 of 26 from the line, because we know they struggled with that. We've seen some games where they're 16 of 26, 16 of 24. Those numbers come to mind. It helps when Brunson goes 14 of 14, but again, 22 of 26, that's a number you sign up for every day, twice on Sundays. That's what Game 4 is on Sunday, Mother's Day. But let's finish talking about Game 1. And the missing piece of this puzzle in the fourth quarter that I haven't touched on yet is the newly acquired, in the middle of the season, number 8, OG Anunoby. And he was pretty good. He was solid up until this point where you're like, is he going to make the necessary impact that we need him to make? And when it was 109-107 after a big Brunson 3, Anunoby gets the strip of Halliburton. He looks up to Brunson, who gets fouled and makes the 2 free throws. That was a big, big strip. But then on the following possession, Anunoby gets another steal, somehow keeps his balance on the sideline, and then what he does so well in transition, blowing by people, strong, he goes to the cup, he's going to flush it. And they go up by 2. And then he has one more for you, because I forgot about this, and then I watched the game back like I do after every playoff game. Anunoby contests a tough Siakam shot and makes 3 basically stops in a row. This wasn't a steal, but the Knicks get the rebound, score, go up 113-109. They needed every single one of those points because the Pacers came back with a 6-0 run to take a 2-point lead. Brunson then makes a shot to tie it. DiVincenzo makes the 3 to put them ahead, and then the rest was free throws. But their end of the game execution still makes you very, very nervous. And they throw it around, and Brunson off the foot, and then he tries to throw it off Halliburton. The Knicks this season have basically told you, or this postseason, that you're going to lose your hair. It's going to take a couple years off your life, but damn, is it going to be worth it? Damn, is it going to be fun? And that's exactly what it's been. Because they've won 5 of 7. They're 3-1 on their home floor. We forget about that one loss, but there is a true home court advantage feel at the end of these games. And I don't care what Tyrese Halliburton has to say. There is nothing, absolutely nothing overrated about the Madison Square Garden crowd. And I can't wait to be a part of that tomorrow night as I put my 3-game playoff winning streak on the line with my brother-in-law, George. And shout out George, who's been extremely supportive of the podcast. And we have had some great, great postseason memories together. So we hope that continues tomorrow. But the New York Knicks survive. The New York Knicks show heart, grit, all those adjectives. You could list them out at this point and continuously say them. Isn't it great to see the alumni there too? Stephon Marbury, John Starks, Clyde in his suit. Well, he does the games for MSG, obviously, but now that's no longer. So it's great to see him there. We know about, Sprewell and Houston being around the franchise as much as they have been. But to me, that's great to see the players, former players interacting with the fans. It's the energy, as I talk about all the time, has been great. It was a party outside of MSG. Don't apologize for that. Don't apologize for these wins. All right? I don't want to hear it. If the NBA was great for the Knicks, we would have had a title over the last 51 years. I said that earlier today, and I'll say it again. So we have a lot to look forward to in this series, right? I came in saying 5 or 6. Hold serve at home. It's important to be up 2-0. Here's the stat of the day for me. In the last 6 postseason series, the last 6, when the Knicks win game 1, they're 3-0. When they lose game 1, they're 0-3. Last night, they got off to a great start. There's a lot of work to do, but you feel really good about it because when the game is on the line right now, they have proved to have what it takes, and they do not get too caught up in the moment, and they've made big shots, and they continue to play the brand and style of basketball that they've played all year. So enjoy it. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow for the lunchtime live, which is a game day tradition now going forward and in the postseason. I appreciate you guys so much. New York Knick Nation, be proud, right? During the regular season, I would get 1 or 2 people at work that would talk to me about the Knicks. First series, a few more. Now it's everybody stopping me. Harris, you see the game? Let's talk about the Knicks. It's everybody. It's mothers, it's grandmothers, it's sisters, it's brothers, it's cousins. Whoever is in New York right now is locked in to this Knicks playoff run. You know what? It's intoxicating. It's addicting. And it continues tomorrow at the Garden. We'll talk to you soon on the banter. Enjoy the rest of your day.